Okay, welcome back. Right, you can see the model now has developed quite a bit further from the original model. I'm just going to go down and check my subdivision levels and see what's happening down below. As you can see, not a lot has happened. It's still kept itself quite nicely. It's starting at subdivision level 2. There's starting to be a few changes around the shoulder area, and especially there, and we're coming up to there. Now I would say if you're going to make any movement adjustments, like say for the shoulder area, which I've got here, which I actually quite like, they're quite big, but they're quite big on the illustration, I would do it at a lower level like this. Then I would use the move brush. It's just a lot easier for the computer to compute it all, and it keeps it a bit cleaner. So I start to take my shoulders back down to where they kind of should be, and I raise them up at the back. Maybe just bring those up. That's a lot better. Maybe bring this area down a little bit more. Then you see it will ripple or telegraph back through to the high resolution side of it. It's a lot easier to make big changes lower down the subdivision level than it is to do it at the higher division levels. So okay, so we've got this model. I'm quite happy with the way this is all kind of working. Not really sure about this area too much. So I think what we'll do now is we'll go across to the clay tubes, and I'll just adjust my size, my intensity probably a little bit, and I'll just start to clay tube these in. Now it's going to give you pretty much the same effect that we had when we use a standard brush, but it's nice and square. It works really well with the human anatomy, and what I'm trying to do is get this kind of shape going around. So I'm going to bring that across there. I think these ribs, but we haven't even smoothed any of it yet, and you've definitely got a big hit in here, so I'll chisel that out, and this is kind of be where this the groin areas where he's going to expel wastes. So what I'm doing now is I'm just starting to put the build over the top of the muscles I've already got, and I'm going to do it in a kind of cross hatching method, the same way that you would do if you are actually sculpting a model. You can take it in very small stages and start to build it up. And we can start to build up around there. You might need to come across and increase your draw size. I'm kind of happy with that. That's quite nice. I don't want major detail. Do make sure that you do in the areas that you can't see as well. It's very important that the muscle structure should follow down with these as well. Across here, it just needs a lot more filling to be done. And I'm going to start to do this kind of buttock area, start to redefine it, and of course the hip area there. But generally that's kind of ready now for me to tackle the head. I mean, you can work on this as much as you like. And I quite like this kind of organic-y type of look. It's It's really nice. So now I'm going to go stay with my tool here, and I'm going to start to put in the line where the kind of forehead is, where he's coming across. So that's quite nice, and I'm going to chisel out another little area here to come down to this mouth area and give his chin a little bit more. And I'm going to begin to go around the sides here. So what I'm doing here is I'm making an actual jawbone, and this is basically going to be where this circle area will kind of come into. Again, following geometry. And it's great with the graphics tablet, you can just lightly build up all this detail and just make it a little bit more interesting. I'm just trying to get this flat area kind of like for the face. I'm going to be pulling it out a bit and using clipping brushes on it, but I think it's quite important here to try and raise up a little bit of this. Well, that's pretty good, it's getting the shape there. I'm now going to just start to put in my eye socket, which is going to go about here. That's pretty good. I'm going to place roughly where my ear is going to go. And I'm kind of happy with that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a smart resim on it. So I'm selecting, I'm going to try and select half the model, and I'm going up to, I'm going to go down to my deformations and just use a smart resim. This will basically make sure both sides are the same. I might have some errors here, but which I'm not too worried, but I noticed that my brush wasn't behaving properly on the symmetry. Maybe it had been knocked out of symmetry or something. This sometimes happens. You see, I'm at high subdivision level, so it's going to take a while. But when it's done, it should echo this half over to this half, and we should then be able to move on with the project. So I will see you in the next lesson, where we will start to smooth the model up to be accepting of the extrusions that we're going to do within the mesh. And I also want to talk to you about other ways of extracting mesh and creating these kind of armor plates, and their benefits and their downside as well.